kad govorimo o Evropsku uniju, često spominjamo tu reč, viziju. Osobno sam počastvovana što sam u ovom društvu, na ovom panelu sa veteranima evropskih integracija, ljudima čije imena i rad pratim iz početka i kako što ste rekli, ja sam možda relativno novo ime. Ne znam da li to znači da sve ljude od koje sam ja učila međuvremeno su odustali od evropske integracije, nadam se da to nije slučaj. Pripadam onim generacijama koje su nedeljom gledale Porodično blago, tako da nekako spontano govorim i razumevam jezik, ali se ne osuđujem da ga koristim u profesionalnoj komunikaciji zbog nedostatka formalnog učenja gramatike, zato malo i ovo pazim oko padeža. Tako da ću da pribegnem engleskom. Mada to je možda malo neprirodno svima nama. I think that only a couple years ago, or more than a couple years ago, the topic on European integration would be the first topic on the agenda of every conference, the one that would provide the energy and the enthusiasm for all further discussions. Later on, over the years, we started talking about perspectives, prospects, and I think that this title is the most suitable, the most appropriate one, sustainability of European integration process, whether it is sustainable or not, which means whether it is delivering or not. And it is the last panel. However, all these topics related to the European integration were cross-cutting issues through all of the discussions that we had yesterday and today, so a lot of these questions were already touched upon. Why we are talking so much about dates? As it was said yesterday, this year marks 2 decades, 20 years since the Thessaloniki summit was held, where the European leaders promised that the future of this region is within the EU. So 20 years later, this European promise became reality only in the case of Croatia. On the other side, we have Montenegro that is negotiating already 11 years, and that is twice longer than the 6 years period in which Croatia started and completed the accession process. The story of my country, of North Macedonia, is even more bitter. I would maybe also say frustrating, because we were the first country from the region to sign the Stabilization and Association Agreement in 2001. We were given candidate country status in 2005. So 2023, 18 years later, that's the age needed for graduation, we are still not even able to speak whether we have opened accession negotiations or not, or whether we are going to proceed with the accession negotiations or we are going to face yet another obstacle. So waiting time is very challenging, and the pressure to determine the right date is inevitable and much understandable. Also because time is correlated with another key word of European integration, which is the credibility of the accession process. And credibility of the accession process refers to the ability of the EU, readiness of the EU to withhold the reward if the conditions are not met, but also to provide the reward once the conditions are met. And it is the crucial factor for the accession process to deliver to its full potential. However, in my opinion, I think that the question when, however important it is maybe not the right question, but the right question is what kind of European Union are we going to join in? That is the first question. And the second question is what kind of member states would our country be if we eventually join the European Union? Because as it was discussed, the situation is very complex, but maybe one thing is for sure. the European Union we applied for 1 or 2 decades ago is not the same as the European Union today. The European Union in which countries from the Central and Eastern Europe joined almost 20 years ago is not the same as the European Union today. And the process of Europeanization can even be reversible. So it seems that the EU is like a moving target itself. On the other side, enlarging the EU with Western Balkan countries is not a concession or favor on the side of the EU, and we must be more vocal about that. It is in EU's strategic interests as a way of structuring the continent over the so-called European standards and values that were also mentioned yesterday.